Welcome back to the TI4 qualifiers. It's the Southeast Asian qualifiers grand finals. We've got MVP Phoenix up against Arrow Gaming. Arrow Gaming leading 2-1. Gods, he's fogged. How are we doing, fogged?
Doing good. Getting a little chilly in here.
Yes.
It's starting to get a little cold.
We got the lights on now, so this will help heat the room out for a little bit. And it's all right. Well, we've got ourselves game number 4 draft. We're gonna hop ourselves into that one as we're gonna see pretty much a very familiar sight here. I mean,
same thing we've been seeing almost every single game.
It's almost like not even worth hopping inside the draft, as I say that. I could have just chatted some more. But yeah, we've got the same opening. Nothing really much more to say. We're back to us. There we go. We can talk about other stuff. Yeah. So come on back to the studio. Come inside the studio.
Yeah. you got to stop, man.
No,
what are you trying to do to everybody? Anything's gonna get blown up.
It's getting saucy in here. But yeah, we've got game 4. What do you? I mean, we talked a lot about what the team's going to do here. This is a lot at stake. MVP, they're down a game, facing match point here. But I don't feel like the pressure's going to necessarily get to them too much.
Yeah, I don't really think so either. But maybe we'll see. I feel like Arrow might just change the way that they've been playing up. They might play a little bit way more aggressive. They're gonna just try to close this out as quick as possible. And yeah, I mean, it's really tough for MVP. Although they have been playing really well and they haven't been picking like cheese lineups at all. They've just been straight up battling against Arrow, and they've been doing a pretty damn good job of it.
Yeah.
It just ends up being Arrow ends up just a little bit better. You know, they just have a little bit more in their players, and the overall farm on their heroes just ended up just taking control of that game.
Are we getting to a stage where MVP rethink going back to their like cheesy push strats? And well, maybe that's going to be the case here. We will now hop into the draft. We've got the Nature's Prophet first pick with a Jakiro second pick. So generally liquid fire build coming out and lots of tower pushing when MVP Phoenix do this.
Yeah. So not too much of a shocker. I mean, they do love that Jakiro. We didn't see it picked up at all the previous game. It wasn't banned either, of course. But Arrow also decides to go for the Shadow Demon Dazzle, and that's it does reveal both supports right away, which is not always what you want to do. But Shadow Demon and Dazzle, like I was saying before, they have incredible offensive potential, but also at the same time just such a beastly defensive capability.
Well, it's deja vu, time and time again. Death Prophet banned, Tinker banned. Arrow Gaming, what have they been banning fourth here? Maybe they want to ban something like the Sand King, which both teams have been playing a lot of. Sand King's there. If they really are worried about the push trap, maybe they ban the Warlock, because that's kind of MVP's go-to when they don't get the Death Prophet for March. The other option is, of course, the Viper, but Viper did not work out too well for them in the previous game. They did win game 2 with it, but I feel like that wasn't because of Viper as a hero. It was because of Arrow Gaming's draft and, more importantly, their play.
And yeah, the Queen of Pain, just you're not really able to do anything. And we do see the Panda ban coming out for MVP Phoenix, so they're completely focusing DDZ, except for, that one Doom ban. But we do see the Viper being banned out for Arrow there, so they do opt for that. They don't want to deal with it. They know how comfortable MVP really is on it. And actually, Viper with liquid fire on enemies, you just don't even attack, because corrosive skin plus the poison and with the liquid fire, it's pretty miserable.
Okay. So we'll see what the plan is for the two teams. Arrow revealing very little to nothing of what they want to do with their draft. As for MVP, the option to push is there, although they don't always go that route. They had the game 2 draft with the Jakiro. They can pick up something like, even like going for a Faceless Void with the Jakiro, not a bad idea. There's great kind of path, the Macro Pyre, and even the Prophet as well with the ultimate coming into play. So
I personally would think a Void, it's very, very greedy, and Shadow Demon and Dazzle, those two heroes together, that's such a lethal tri-lane if they have almost anything. I mean, someone gets put under with the heal bomb plus the Soul Catcher. If they have, you just insert carry hero, it's pretty devastating. So I think Void is a little bit of a greedy pick, especially because they already have this Jakiro. And now Arrow goes for his Darkseer, so maybe we'll see them go for a Void.
Yeah, Darkseer game 1 it was run as a solo mid, but more likely we look towards Zheng Zhai playing the offlane Darkseer this time around for Arrow Gaming. But it's a pretty flexible pick in general, and one that does give them that element of a team fight. And if they're worried about a push coming their way, Darkseer does do nicely to defend against that.
And this still just doesn't reveal everything yet, though, because Darkseer can go mid, he can also go short lane, and he can go off lane, of course. So they're still not revealing anything. They want to keep DDZ's and Lance's heroes at bay. They don't want to reveal what they're really going to play just yet. So MVP's a little bit under the pressure here. They have to just decide, we have to make a really strong draft, and just they can't. MVP just can't. They need to do really well in the early game, just like I've said for all of the games. But this game is the match point, so it's the most important. If they get even a little bit demoralized, Arrow can just completely steamroll them, and then that's it for them.
Yep. Well, this third and fourth pick will reveal a lot if they do want to go for one of their cheesy push strats or not. This is where they got to start just picking all those pushes together. They get the Rubik to go with the Jakiro. They still often do this like Rubik, Jakiro, Warlock like all together in the same draft. So this pick itself doesn't necessarily reveal exactly what they have in mind.
Yeah, people have actually been picking Rubik a lot, like out of nowhere, and oh man, we see the Naga coming out for Arrow. So that has really high potential for an aggressive tri-lane. But also, if they want, they can just safe lane it, or they can even throw the Naga mid. So that's also hiding even more. I mean, I don't really think we've seen the Southeast Asian teams throw the Naga mid like we see.
A couple teams have, not as much as I think the Western teams do. But the main team that doesn't is Myth Trust. So maybe you've seen Myth Trust played, and Lakel's almost always in the safe lane. But if you look at like Orange Esports, Arrow Gaming, they will run the mid Naga Siren. So
fair enough. And yeah, I was just gonna talk back more on like the Rubik. Like they picked it almost out of nowhere, and he doesn't really have the best spells to steal there. But we've seen Ryzen play that Rubik, and he is quite a beast on it. And now we do see a hero we haven't really seen much in the Southeast Asian qualifiers at all. Storm Spirit.
Yep. This is a QO pick, and we see there his name gets tagged onto that one. He's I think in the Korean scene most known for his Storm Spirit as well as his Templar Assassin. So probably be him there. They haven't picked up March's hero just yet for the tri lane, but as far as carries go, do you think MVP want to be picking up like a true late game hero like a Void, or do they want to go for something a bit more early game fight?
I think they need to get something for late game. Just the threat of the Naga, honestly. You need something that can clear illusions really well, and just they can even maybe, wouldn't like it, but they could go for a Lifesteal with the Storm, but I think that'd be really dumb, honestly. Arrow bans it anyway, just in case, because Storm Spirit plus Lifesteal can obviously, they can just jump on the Naga and end up killing him all the time. But the Storm Spirit pick there was actually really good, because if looking at Arrow's lineup, they have 0 stun so far for this. So he's gonna, if he starts to snowball, it can really get out of control.
And good for just definitely an Orchid game when you're up against Dazzle, Shadow Demon. Sure, you can only Orchid one of them, so if you go on the Dazzle, it gets disrupted, or vice versa with the Grave. But chances are one of those spells has to get used maybe earlier somewhere else. So having the Orchid to engage on the backline supports, who are often going to be positioned very far back, means Storm, I think, is a really nice pick here.
Yeah, and OD being banned out by MVP, not really much of a shocker there. They don't want their Storm to just get screwed over at all.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, Arrow still has not revealed the way that they're going to lane it on. I feel like MVP's lanes are a little bit obvious right now.
Yes, there's not much you can do about it. I guess you could go offensive tri-lane. You don't know if they're going to pick something to tri-lane offensively with the Nature's Prophet safe lane. Nature's Prophet does okay against Darkseer there. And it's going to be a Tiny for Arrow Gaming. Ooh. We see Tiny every now and then, and even without the Wisp, still a very strong hero in its own right.
Not the biggest fan without the Wisp, but if he has a really good start, he can actually just, he can snowball out of control. And I think this might reveal the lanes, but they could still do something goofy. Like, they could just do something unexpected. And, yeah, just MVP just, like, they don't really know what it could be. But Tiny overall versus Storm Spirit, not the greatest, but at the same time, that gives them one of the stuns that they really need. And now, wow.
Okay. This is a carry silencer for MVP. Against Dazzle and Shadow Demon, you engage on someone, you want to make sure they don't get disrupted, they don't get graved, you pick a silencer. You jump in with the global silence.
Pretty interesting pick there.
It's kind of nice.
But I mean, it's just like
you're not convinced.
I'm just
you
worried.
Sound worried.
I'm really worried for MVP. Like, they picked a silencer and they have the Storm. Sure, they have some decent late game, but if the game doesn't end early for them, it's gonna be a complete disaster. Arrow's gonna be completely leading.
They have no sustainability in a fight. Like, who's actually going to be the one? Like, Storm can engage, but you don't normally want Storm going in first. You want that, like, initiator, like a Clockwork, Centaur, whatever it may be. And MVP just completely do not have that. They lack that entirely. But, all right. Well, we'll see exactly what they have in mind. So, Silencer is going to be played by March, so it will be a carry Silencer coming out. I don't know. You don't look thrilled about the Silencer pick.
I like Silencer, but I mean, like... I just don't feel like he's gonna be able to do much. If he dies and he doesn't get like a crazy amount of farm, it's gonna be such a big problem.
Yeah.
You see some Roshan pings being done out, but yeah, we do see
Arrow
smoke coming out for Arrow right now.
On a first blood here, do they put down an ward offensively behind the tower and a thing? Looks like they're just gonna sweep one through as not gonna find anyone just yet with this smoke rotation, but they can drop wards here pretty easily. Treants actually scouted out the Roshan pit, so they were somewhat worried about a potential level 1 Roshan from from Arrow Gaming. My Malaysian team's mixed up. As Good Luck Have Fun is called. Some good old sportsmanship. Still not dead.
Arrow decided to not even put any wards at all in the enemy jungle, so they just wanted to go for a same ban 4 games GG. Keep on calling it like this, but yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of the same bans coming all over the place, so not too much of a shocker. And we do see Fioran actually, he did run top and get his lane ward down right away, so at least he's got that, so he'll be able to get some experience and see whatever Arrow is doing with their supports. But it looks like Arrow is actually deciding to go for this aggressive tri-lane with the Naga.
Yep. Well, yeah, so Naga, Dazzle, Shadow Demon. This MVP tri-lane, they've got 3 ranged heroes, but by no means a strong tri-lane of ranged heroes, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, this is such a potent tri-lane right now. Like, if anyone gets put under, it's an instant death.
Look at this killer block as well. Like, this is going to pull the weight back so much. MVP are going to be in so much danger here. Heal Bomb with the Shadow Demon Disruption will be such an easy kill, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and this is exactly why I don't like the Silencer at all, because he can't do anything. They're not going to be able to get any farm on him at all, and they need the early game to go heavily in their favor. And
he can't even go get in XP range right now. This block has just won them this tri lane versus tri lane. Curse of the Silence, level 1 gets picked up, as there will be a disruption used, but it actually misses the Shadow Wave heal. But okay.
Zoning, he's zoning disruption, but
the lane is going to push out.
Yeah, just a bit.
Not the end of the world. Actually, it's hardly pushing out here. There's still just a single range creep as Liquid Fire level 1 just getting casually thrown at Lance as he's going to pick up a Magic Stick early on. Magic Stick can be fantastic in this tri-lane versus tri-lane. And Silencer going Curse of the Silence level 1. Do you feel like this is a good lane to be going Curse of the Silence?
I mean, I think he has to. Like, he just wants to put a little bit of pressure on them, because he's not going to be able to farm at all. And if anyone gets put under, they're going to die if the Dazzle and the Naga are in the proper position. And now Ryzen might be in a little bit of trouble here. He reveals the Obs ward on the outside, and that's essentially what actually has vision of it. If they walk over and decide to kill it,
waits for his other support to join up with him, and they'll take that one out together. So without the Observer Ward, this lane gets even trickier for MVP. Yeah, they will get the lane under their tower shortly, as they do have the double range creep on the dire side.
Oh, and mid lane right now, Storm gets tossed all the way back into Tiny's tower, and he might actually be able to get a kill, but no, he doesn't. But really well played there by DDZ. Yeah. I was just taking a glance at the other lanes, and right away it's like, whoa!
Tiny gets some much-needed space there. It looks like his bottle is going to be flying on, not flying out, it's just going to be walking on out here. No courier snipes in vision, as DD Rune going to spawn bottom at the 2-minute mark.
They do have a Furin, though, so maybe if he sees that bottle get grabbed up, he might port for it.
Oh, he's going for it. No, he cancelled it. He would have had it, too.
Oh, he would have had it.
He doesn't have a teleport scroll, but even so, it's still... I guess you leave the Darkseer, like, alone for a while to pressure the lane, but...
I think that's worth it.
Yeah, it's... Like,
but you know,
almost 1k gold. So
it's one of these games. Like they don't want to make the mistakes. Like I was saying, they need the early game just to go completely in their favor. And if he goes for it and doesn't get it, then that Darkseer is just kind of completely.
If Arrow Gaming are like fully clued in and aware of that what could happen, they just send the courier a different direction to get back to base because of that. But they didn't do it. It doesn't get sniped, and we'll see this back to the tri-lane versus tri-lane. No kills just yet, but it does have a feeling of a lane that where we're going to be seeing blood and action very soon.
Yeah, I'm just going to be keeping track just between this bottom and this mid lane, and oh, there we go.
Yeah, March is going to get initiated on. They get the poison touch to follow. March, the right-click damage is going to get him low, but not quite enough, as Naga Siren takes another Curse of the Silence here. Johnny gets pulled back in. This does a lot of damage coming out of him. The last word as well. Johnny going to maybe go down. He may be our first blood. They're trying to turn this one around. 1 or 2 more right-clicks. Silence is still alive. He's your first blood. Johnny tangling his way through. Is he going to get out of this one? Looks like he will go down. 1-for-1 trade to start things off here. For Rev now on the run. He's just TP'd in from the offlane. This is a disaster if he goes down. 2-for-1 now. Raisin not out of dodge as well. He's going to get right-clicked a couple more times. Raisin gets a lift off. It's come back off cooldown. Looks like Dazzle Mosin, no grave point for him. He tried to go for another right-click onto the Rubik to get a kill. They're not going to find it. These Magic Sticks paying off for Arrow Gaming. Shadow Demon as well as Naga Siren both having Magic Sticks really helping them out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that could have definitely gone way worse for MVP there, but they did lose their Furion, and now Darkseer's just got a free lane when he was already winning in it anyway. Yeah.
Well, Naga Siren getting very low in HP here at the bottom lane. He's going to survive. 33 HP. Has a cell, but he's out of mana anyway, so he's going to head all the way back to base to heal himself up. Zheng Zhai, meanwhile, in the safe lane. Darkseer's just tower skipping now, putting some pressure on this tower. This basically means Forev can't really look to go for that TP rotation again anytime soon.
Oh, and top, and that's exactly what Kyo needs, and he might actually be able to get the kill on Darkseer.
He's not level 6, but... he's going to go for this one. Zheng Zhai gets a surge up, but it's timed perfectly with the Electric Vortex. As a Sprout as well, Zheng Zhai tangos himself through. Q is going to keep on chasing. Needs a Remnant, maybe. He tries to walk in front. Does get the dodge up, but the right-click damage should be enough. The Iron Shell's there, and a nice rotation from Q gets him a kill on the Darkseer.
And did he even spend his gold? Yeah, he did end up spending the gold. It was bringing his buckler out on the courier, but it just wasn't soon enough.
So back to the tri-lane here. This was... they're going to get a poison touch out onto Ryzen here on the Rubik, but for now, Prophet back at base healing. He could look to maybe TP in and stir things up here a bit in this tri-lane versus tri-lane.
I mean, the Silencer is actually doing incredibly well. He has the same exact last hits as Lance, but I think Lance has actually missed a lot of creep score. I mean, sometimes it's pretty hard with that Naga. If you're not... I mean, once you start playing that hero, if you've played him a lot, you're very used to it, but if you jump into a game after not playing him a bunch of times, that really low damage just gets to you.
What happened mid? Tiny is double Storm CS right now.
I guess that tossback really hurt the Storm there, but I mean, I don't think that you really see a Tiny completely decimating a Storm this hard, but that rotation top did give Tiny a lot of time to just pick up some farm.
Yeah, I mentioned before that it wasn't quite this one-sided, but even so, Tiny doing fantastic, and this is a hero who you give him these early levels. His burst damage, something you can't really underestimate. Even a hero like Storm with level 6, if he gets hit by an avalanche toss, he will die from full HP very soon, so...
Yeah, if once DDZ hits 7, he actually has a very good kill potential on QO. So QO has to be very, very careful. He might want to even pick up a Belt of Giant Strength, and he does as soon as I'm saying it. So
nice. Okay, and the other thing is, last time I saw Arrow pick the Naga Siren when Lance played it, he didn't actually go for that Radiance Naga Siren build. He played much more like teamfight centric with the Song of the Siren use and going for like I think he went for like a drums into. He went for a Blink Dagger, which was a bit of a clowny pickup, but he just went for like a more early game fighting build, skipping the Radiance.
Right now, though, just giving the I'm going to be giving the early game to Arrow, even though their aggressive trialing isn't going that well.
That's the aggressive trialing just collapsed. Nature's Prophet hits level 6. A great TP out from Johnny with a Shadow Wave. He escapes that. That looks so bad for them with that Prophet ultimate. Zheng Jia even TP'd him with a Surge. He's looking for blood here. The Avalanche is going to find Ryzen. Ryzen, is there a toss on him? Not going to find him. Nice Ice Path dodge with a vacuum here. There's your toss on the Rubik. That'll finish him off. Another Shadow Wave coming through, as well as the Curse of the Silence from March on the Silencer. Will force back Arrow Gaming here. Zheng Jia getting pretty low on the Darks here. Has a Surge in 5-4 seconds. Last Word will not finish him off, as he can salve himself up after he takes his damage and maybe continue to fight. And it looks like he will do that. The turnaround potential is there, especially once DDZ has another Avalanche toss. Toss into a Riptide. Jakiro melts.
He did not. I don't think he saw that one coming.
No.
And DDZ opts to go for phase boots, so he's going to be moving around the map. He's just going to be trying to get a lot of kills. I think he's going to be playing more so of a ganking space-making Tiny rather than the usual thing we see.
Bring back the Blink Dagger Tiny.
I think that's what it's going to end up being.
Yeah. Another toss in.
Wow, that toss went really far.
He had no mana.
Oh, but I think he might have gotten his... I think he got... He's dead.
Oh,
the grave. Oh, okay, there you go. That could have been a little bit awkward.
I think he had a Riptide, but the Curse of the Silence took his mana away. Yeah. So, Silencer going for max. Is he maxing Curse of the Silencer here on himself? Yeah, he's got 3 points in it. So this is actually helping a lot in this trial versus trial scenario. March is playing really well. Like I've been solidly impressed by it. Meanwhile, mid lane Johnny actually in some trouble here. Kua going for a kill. He's going to zip under the tower, completely use up his entire mana pool. But with the Nature's Prophet, Wrath of Nature, does get the kill.
And, I mean, they're getting away. They're getting some kills all over the place, and I don't feel like this. The aggressive trialing worked into the favor that they thought it really would. I mean, they were getting the disruptions, but they don't have like an instant lockdown right after that disruption. Nat has a pretty awful windup, so they put someone under, they dropped the heal bomb, but they weren't getting killed instantly. So Rubik would just turn and lift somebody right away, and then they even would turn the fight with a Fear Importer. Now we said the Fear ulti, which unfortunately the guy got graved and TP'd out, and now it went in a little bit in favor of Arrow, but their aggressive trialing could have definitely gone better.
And well, with the Tron, they could never go on Jakiro. I feel like Jakiro was always sitting back with perfectly timed and placed ice paths a lot of the time. Like he was pretty instrumental as far as keeping heroes alive for MVP in that trialing. So we'll see. Arrow Gaming, they swing the Naga Siren top, maybe considering going for a Radiance this game around. Do you feel this is a needed late game transition from him?
I mean, if it depends on how DDZ wants to play, and what it looks like is DDZ is going to just be trying to make space. So I think he's just going to go for that Radiance on Naga, and just they can take it late. I mean, Naga Sirens with Radiance, we've seen how disgusting it is.
Yeah.
You really can't do too much about it. They do have a lot of AoE on the side of MVP, but it becomes something that you just can't handle at one point.
Well, pretty much dead even as far as the farm and both the two teams go here. Nothing really separating them on the net worth. And all the heroes who need the farm, getting the farm. You got your Naga, Tiny Darks getting decent farm on the Arrow side for MVP. Nature's Prophet especially has a Midas up already. The safe lane farming Silencer doesn't have huge farm, but it's not really a hero that gets crippled by not having a farm. I mean, generally this hero is played as a support to begin with. So
he's got an int. He stole some int too, so at least there's that. I mean, it's not much, but he's got his global and Silence online now, so maybe they'll try to go for something with it, but you usually want to use that in either a very, very aggressive way or, trying to save people with it.
This casual toss harass coming out on QA here. Ryzen going to go get a D-ward on the high ground there as... actually, well, that was a deny D-ward, as that's Arrow Gaming. D-warding the Observer Ward, and...
They're backing up the smoke now, and they're going to run straight toward bottom for that Silencer. And Silencer is just so squishy. He's going to get blown up if he doesn't see this coming.
Yeah. May not get a chance to pop the global. Sure you have it, but if you get disrupted into an avalanche, you're dead, or even just a straight-up avalanche could finish him off. He's got a Belt of Giant Strength, so you talk about getting whatever you can as far as value HP. Disruption, really poorly executed there. They timed the disruption with the avalanche, saved Ryzen's life. Yikes.
Bit of a misplay play by Johnny. I mean, Ryzen did have that lane ward there, but they were smoked in the initial
Now Storm's
part.
going to go for a zip in here, looking for a kill. They've got a Sentry one for DDZ, pulls him back into it, but there's no fall damage, and QO
He's out of mana.
out of mana, pops a magic one, had about 11 charges, so will be at just enough mana to maybe get himself out of there, as Prophet even TPs in with a Sprout block to deter any further chases from Arrow Gaming. Weird, like the last few minutes have just been very strange.
Another smoke right away. DDZ just keeps wanting to put pressure. They want to go kill that silencer. They don't want him to get anything, and it's definitely a good choice. Like
they're going to run into what, Rubik and or Nature's Prophet first, though.
Yep. And smoke actually gets revealed.
They see him too. I think the Treant's scouted out. They will get Ryzen on the Rubik. This time there's no global silence to save him. Iron Shell is there. The toss back coming out. The Shadow Demon hasn't got mana for a disruption here, and the Curse of the Silence will cripple his mana pool, so needs to be a bit careful here. Wrath of Nature flying on through. Tiny needs another Avalanche toss. He's not going to have it for 3 seconds. Only has mana for 1 spell, and there goes his mana pool. Pops a magic one, but he's completely out of mana. Throws a toss just to a creep wave or something, and
top lane Lance is actually getting gone on. Oh, and he does get to sleep in the TP off. So he actually did opt to go for a bracer. So maybe he's not just going to go for the direct Radiance Rush.
He's got the Accolade, may get the drums as well on top of that, but this Curse of the Silence is doing some work, I gotta say. These Arrow Gaming heroes are just having their mana constantly drained by it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see him go for an Ags. That'll be pretty interesting, but I don't think that's what we're going to see. We do see Naga pick up treads as well, too. So he wants to be a little bit tanker. He doesn't want to die, and he still could go for this Radiance, but it's going to be really, really slowed down with all the items that he's picked up.
There's a great synergy. Like, end of the day, he can actually come to fights and have a good impact with Song of the Siren because of the synergy with the Darkseer, as well as setting up like Tiny into an Avalanche toss off of the Song of the Siren. I don't think he needs to just sit back. He can still go Radiance later on, but even if it's like a 25-minute Radiance, it's still a decent enough time if he's fighting early on.
Yeah, for sure. And they don't... I mean, they do have a good amount of AoE on MVP, but their cores, the 2 core carries, really don't. I mean, Storm can do decent versus Illusions, but not like some other heroes, which have like Battle Furies or some natural spamming type abilities to clear.
What's the MVP? We talk a lot about what Arrow are doing and what they're trying to do. What do MVP want to do here? They've got QO with decent levels and a good start here. The Prophet's also got his Midas online. Are they just trying to sit back and farm, or do they want to try and actually get some ganks online?
They just have to play really careful, though. I mean, they can go for some ganks, but at the same time, it's risky because if they go for a gank and it ends up just being foiled, Storm's going to start falling behind, and he really needs to get an Orchid very early in this game in order to make a big presence. These
Radiant Observer scouting out every bit of movement from Arrow Gaming. First in the river, now here at the bottom lane. And with that, MVP to say, we'll TP Prophet top, pressure the top lane, force you guys back to defend this top tier 1 tower. And actually, MVP going to TP in more heroes. They're ready to fight. They've got Global Silence online. If Arrow Gaming decide to dive this could be their undoing. DDZ trying to engage. They've got the Ensnare on here to start things off. There's your global. And with that, MVP can fight. A long zip from Q. Uses up a lot of his mana pool. Another TP coming in. This one from the Nature's Prophet. Zheng Zhai taking a lot of damage here behind the tower. It looks like DDZ will finish off the Silencer to start things off. Zheng Zhai kept alive by the Grave. The toss coming out as well. They get the Rubik. And the Grave going to keep him alive even longer. There's a Shadow Wave as well. Ice Path off the mark. DDZ's the hero you've got to worry about. He's going to toss in just a second. He's going to go down. Avalanche also online soon. DDZ, he's still alive. He's trying to TP out. He's going to get out of this one. DDZ, what a player. They get the full 5-man team wipe under the tier 1 tower. MVP saw it coming and everything, and it still went horribly wrong.
I guess they thought it was going to go better just because, you know, they saw what was coming. They had the opportunities to go for it, but the silence wasn't even badly timed. The Storm Spirit ended up zipping and blowing all of his mana and just going for the Shadow Demon instead of getting locked on into his heroes. And Darkseer was just free to walk in, pop his map, heal up his teammates, get double Ion Shell going, and it just ended up being a complete disaster for MVP. And that's going to make a huge difference now because now they're going to be pressured so much more to make stuff happen. And we do see Nagasarian goes for this drum, so I don't think he's even going to go for the Radiance.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, this is Nagasarians back in the days when played as a carry never even went the Radiance build. It was always like your Diffuse or Mantis type build straight up, and it's still something which is pretty powerful against a lot of lineups here. But we'll see. Arrow DDZ goes for a phase drums himself, so no signs of a Blink Dagger at least. And I think at this stage, if he wanted to go Blink Dagger, he would have gone for it a lot sooner. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And it's a fine pickup. He can still go toward the Ag Scepter if he wants to, and you know he probably will because Tiny either way is just going to be able to just destroy towers with ease.
Well, MVP, they don't have the global silence, but they want to pressure this tier 1 mid tower. They see a lot of Arrow Gaming heroes at the top lane, and
this
with
could be a
big
here
mistake.
Well. This could be a huge Naga sleep initiation right now.
There's a lot of TPs coming. They catch QO on the Storm. They also catch Ryzen on the Rubik. Can they kill QO? They can set up with an Avalanche toss. They'll hit it perfectly. So nicely timed there by the Naga Siren with the sleep. They managed to make sure QO does not get a zip out because the Avalanche is waiting for him. Now March in some trouble. The Sprout trying to just cover their retreat here, but there's a wall of Replica blocking the way for March, and He's going to walk on through. That'll be his death, though, and Ryzen now purged up. He steals the toss, tosses back, gets tossed back in, though. And with that, 3-0, Arrow Gaming's favor. This is looking really good for them here in game number 4 all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's already starting to look pretty grim for MVP. I mean, they have a silencer carry, and now he has to go. He has a double bracer build on the silencer. And taking a look at the net worth, it's about, you know, almost 7,500 gold lead for Arrow at this point.
At 15 minutes as well. That's like 500 gold per minute going your way that your opponents aren't getting. And they've done a great job of defending all their towers. MVP just unable to take any towers that they try and push, unable to get any kills when they go for these team fights. And
it's the problem with silencer. I mean, the cooldown is just so long, and they actually are going to engage on Lance. He's in a weird position. I'm pretty sure he's going to take this bill.
Yeah, he's got no Song of the Siren anyway, so yeah, Lance will go down. A bit aggressive from him. Like, even if he has the Song of the Siren, he likely dies there with the Telekinesis, the Ice Path follow-up, but not the end of the world for Arrow, but either way, it's a good start for MVP.
Arrow does not want to be giving up kills at all, no matter what. I mean, they have a pretty commanding lead at this point, and they do have the way better late game lineup, but you don't want to be giving kills like that. I don't really know what Lance was doing there. He was being a little bit too cocky, and his dazzle was nowhere near him.
The inexperience every now and then shows with Arrow Gaming. Like, you saw it in game 2 when they had some sloppy plays, and they're definitely not their execution never flawless, but
they're pretty cocky players as well. It seems like. I mean, we saw in the in the upper bracket finals before, you know, that one game was really, really clowny by them. They almost threw the game away to MVP. So
for just chilling invis at this top lane, and he's not really let's say he's not really accomplishing much up here. he's getting some scouting information. That's about it, but it's not like Arrow Gaming are trying to hide their movements around the map here. As Zheng Zai gone for a Blink Dagger after his mech, so Blink already up for your Darks here. He is more farm than any hero on the MVP side, and there is an invis Tiny, so this could be a kill. Pops the drum, wants to go for the Avalanche. There's a vacuum there for Rev. Invis he goes, the Iron Shell damage is there, but this is not going to be enough. Zheng Zai, I think, quickly realizes he's got to get the hell out of here, and now he's silenced up. Zheng Zai may pay for this with his life. He's got the mech, but he gets lifted up. Still can't pop it just yet. Now gets it up, but the Ice Path is there waiting for him, and Zheng Zai going to pay for this with his life. Tiny now in the front lane, silenced up by the Global. Does not want to commit fully to this one. Avalanche stolen by the Rubik, does a bit of damage, and Arrow maybe thinking about to re-engage here as DDZ quickly realizing they're outnumbered at the top lane and will back off.
And they forced so much up there now at this point, and now
it was still cocky. Like
yeah, that was very, very cocky. I mean, DDZ did not have mana for the combo, and he just ran in anyway. And you know, it was a really nice Shadow Amulet there by the Fear, and he probably would have died. But they might have even gotten a couple more kills out of it if they did make him dive further.
Kyo zips mid, tries to get denied, but that's a Naga Siren tower, and Naga Siren suddenly has 1,800 gold. Tiny does go Blink. Yes.
So he's just going for full space creating. I mean, I don't really blame him. I don't see him needing an Ags too early because they do have the Naga Siren to fall back on, as well as Darkseer is basically a semi-carry in his own once if he lands a big wall vacuum.
You're ahead. You can if things start going pear-shaped, that's where you just say, okay, I'll go for my Aghanim Scepter a bit later on and make that transition. But here we go. Song at bottom lane, 4F trapped inside of a Sprout, and that's going to be an easy pick-off for Arrow Gaming. Happy to use a Song of the Siren, even with the 2-minute cooldown on that.
Yeah, now they're going to be able to get this bottom tower. And I don't think they're too concerned with losing any towers either, because MVP just... they're just starting to run out of gas, it feels like.
Well, MVP cannot defend bottom lane. They may try and get a pick off here on the Tiny. Tiny does have a blink if he can respond fast to that one. They're going to zip in Storm, but fast fingers from DDZ. 4-0 and 5. DDZ's played a hell of a game here in game number 4.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got vision. He must have vision across the river? No?
No, he actually didn't. He just...
How does he get that? I don't know. Somehow had vision for a toss over.
Daytime.
Yeah, daytime. That's probably it. But smoke up from Arrow Gaming as... they're sweeping through the enemy neutrals. Not going to find too much from this. Maybe just want to plant some really offensive ward deep in the jungle. But for now, they also swing back towards Roshan. Do they... They don't have the best Roshan lineup. I don't think they're going to really consider that, at least not this early on.
Yeah, they don't have a medallion yet either, but I think that Johnny actually is going for one. He has the Sage's Mask on him on the Shadow Demon, and they already have an urn built up on the Dazzle, so I think that might be the medallion coming out for him. And yeah, they can really get the Roshans for free. I mean, if Global Silence gets used in a bad spot, they can just really book it to Rosh, and then MVP has no way to be able to fight there. And Storm, he has one Oblivion Staff, but his Orchid's going to be coming out really late because he's been having to play a lot of Reactionary Doria, which is really unfortunate. Like, you never want to play Reactionary Doria because then you're playing the enemy's game, so pretty unfortunate for Q. He has been playing pretty good, but Tiny actually did a great job in mid lane versus him.
And Arrow Game are going to look to force more of that. With the gem picked up on the Dazzle, they can get complete map control and force MVP to be playing blind, which means all they can really hope for is to go for these group up as 5, go for smoke ganks, or just play very defensively if they don't have map vision. And they're thinking Arrow Gaming went Roshan, but that is not the case. MVP are going for this.
Oh, this could
That
be...
is questionable.
This could be really bad.
Very questionable. There's a weave if Dazzle wants to scout this one out, although...
I think they know.
Yeah, they somehow know. I'm not sure what was the giveaway,
Oh,
but...
and he goes for the Relic, so he's going to be going for the Radiance on Naga as well for the
this
super
is
late
such
game.
a bad fight. There's
No.
even Song of the Siren here. This is going to go catastrophically. The vacuum wall onto 5. They get the global silence off, but they've already lost this fight. It looks like nice Ice Pass coming through. DDZ going to have an Avalanche in just a second. Hits 2 with the Avalanche. Raisin as well as March. March on the run. So low in HP. One right click from DDZ. He can't get it. The attack speed slow from the Liquid Fire. Says, screw it. I'll just get the toss kill in. It's a 2-for-0 trade. They didn't even need to use the Song of the Siren. Ryzen now on the run. DDZ will catch up to him with a blink, and they get the kill from the Shadow Poison damage. 3-for-0 there. Roshan's been nicely warmed up for them. They even got a wall still there in the Roshan pit by the Rubik, but that did not matter for MVP Phoenix. That was just...
That was like a... It was like a desperation Roshan, and they just got...
Yeah.
Arrow just completely knew it. They didn't even have to blow the Song of the Siren, and now Naga's got Relic. He's going to be going for the Radiance, and MVP just... I don't really see what they're going to be able to do at this point. They had to go completely defensive items on the Silencer, which isn't so bad, but having to go double Bracer is just really unfortunate for him. He hasn't been able to find any farm anywhere, and he does get a point booster, so he is going to go for the Ag, so he's not even really a carry at that point.
Yeah, that's where your right-click damage maybe... Well, 4F's, he's showing he can play that kind of carry nature's prophet if the game goes long enough, so it's going to come down to more him and Kuo to be the true, like, at least semi-carries for the team. They go top lane on Lance. Lance does still have the Song available. No Ice Path just yet, and Lance will play things safe. Throws the Song. Maybe going to see his team are about to back him up. Dazzle as well as Shadow Demon are there. The heal to get things going, and was Song stolen?
Yeah, he gave him the Song.
Ooh. Song steal. Prophet going to throw an ultimate. Need to cancel this Song soon if you want that damage there. Lance no longer graved up. In some trouble. No disruption available just yet. Lance trying to keep himself alive. Not going to succeed in doing so. So Naga Siren is dead. The chase is now on for Johnny downriver as he turns and throws some more poison. I think accepting the fact he may go down. Grave TP not available. Johnny, I think his TP only maybe just arriving. Defensive disruption is there. He's actually still alive.
What the?
What? They don't want to kill him?
They just, I guess they got
They're
really
scared
scared.
of Tiny.
Yep.
They see Tiny coming in. Oh, 4-hero vacuum. The Avalanche a bit late, but they get the kill on the Rubik regardless. Toss onto the Chikiro onto March. DDZ still chasing the Ice Path, not going to land. Unfortunately for DDZ, he's almost out of mana here because of the Curse of the Silence. Kuo's back, and he's got tons of mana off of this, and Tiny, he's going to pay for this with his life. Luckily, his life isn't Aegis right now, but he may be in over his head. Ice Path waiting for him. Kuo wants to get the pull here. DDZ, this will be close. With the Global Silence, it looks like they will be able to get this kill. Turns around with an Avalanche toss. That's a dead Silencer. Oh, no. Not just... He got Silencer and Jakiro.
And he bought before he died. He basically has his full Ag Scepter up on this Tiny. So
oh, dear.
That was just a weird fight. I mean, the Ice Path was late, so the Naga got his Song off. And then Naga didn't even end up using any spells, so he gave the sleep to the Rubik. Yeah. Just all over the place. Just very strange plays. And it could have been way worse for MVP there though. If the Tiny was a little bit faster
with that
vacuum, it could have been absolutely devastating for them. But either way, the fight did go in favor of MVP because they got the Aegis and they got the Tiny as well. But at the same time, they're gonna get starved.
It was such a small advantage to them. Yeah. Like suddenly you've got a Radiance up on Naga Siren in a couple hundred gold. I think you look at the big picture and what's their long-term plan here? Like they're down 10k plus on the gold graph, and your Tiny's almost got Ag Scepter, your Naga's almost got Radiance. Dazzle and Shadow Demon just great late game supports in general because of disruption and Grave. Yeah. So what are you gonna do if you're MVP?
QO, fortunate that right there. He did get his Orchid finished up. He's got an Ogre Axe too, so now he's a little bit tankier. He's gonna be going toward his BKB. But, I mean, it's going to be so difficult for them because anyone who's alone, DDZ is waiting. Look, he's got a blink and feet. Yeah, there goes.
Well,
goodbye.
Goes in on the Prophet bottom lane. No? Well, gets away just barely.
50 HP. Very, very close there.
All right. Well, Radiance is up now for your Naga Siren. DDZ, he's about 600-700 away from his Aghanim Scepter as we'll see Arrow Gaming look to regroup once again. You've just got your Radiance. Normally for Naga Siren, you get your Radiance, you think, okay, now let's split farm all over the map. But this is almost with the drums and the Aquila, he can almost keep on fighting with the Radiance.
Absolutely.
I don't think he has to just play like, okay, I've got Radiance, let's split push and farm the map.
Something that really just sucks to point out more for even MVP. I mean, it sucks to say, but March, he is a carry silencer, but he's only level 10 on him. It's almost 25 minutes in, so he doesn't even have his level 2 global. So, I mean, it really sucks for them at this point.
Getting your level 11 doesn't take too long though. You only need that 600 XP to get there. So I guess it's like he'll get that pretty quickly, and I guess he's still got a bit of a ways to go before the Aghanim Scepter. But it is 4Ev going the carry build. He's gone Shadowblade into what looks to be a Maelstrom fairly soon. Just There we go. Maelstrom will arrive on him, so he's going DPS for the MVP side.
Yeah, and Q actually has an invis top, so Lance might get gone, but Shadow Demon's there. He's ready this time. And then he does get pinged out, so he's probably going to be the one who gets gone.
The Orchid misses. Not that it would have mattered anyway. I think he kind of panicked. Like, he saw the Shadow Demon and thought, oh crap, gotta rush, and wait, no, I gotta run.
Yeah, he Orchided a creep and pulled a creep. Yeah. So. Definitely a panic. Definitely some picnic right there, but you know what? He saw the Shadow Demon there, and it was smart for him just not to engage. But he ends up wasting a good amount of time. He could have found a lot of farm on the map, split push lanes out during that, and he lost a big opportunity. And
Tiny does have the Ag Scepter up now, so top 2 net worth, both on the Arrow Gaming side. Their late game is just a whole lot scarier. The one thing MVP can do a bit is at least kite the Tiny around. Nagasar, not a hero who necessarily gets kited around. You just don't really care about actually getting hero kills in a fight, though.
And you've been seeing the power of the Liquid Fire. You see the Tiny like tries to swing, but he's got the phase drum instead of the tread, so it's just like the swing, but no, and then swing again, and no, but...
That was hilarious when he killed the silencer in the jungle. He was like kept trying to swing and failing. He's like, oh, I got tossed.
He's like, screw this, you know what?
Just use another 120 mana.
Yeah.
But this is like a must-buy. I may even just go BKB next. Would you say, or do you want to get your AC first?
On the Tiny?
Yeah.
I feel like he can really go anything. He doesn't really. He's not really at any rush at this point. He's not the carry. I mean, he's partly a carry, but Naga for the most part is going to be super carry, and it's a level 14 Naga with his Charged Drum Radiance. He's got another 2,000 gold on him now too. So it's just super hard for MVP. They need to just keep their lanes pushed out as far as possible so that no one gets picked off. And they're just not really doing too great a job of that. I mean, the Ion Shell is just keeping the lanes pressured in. Naga's just sending non-stop Radiance Illusions, and he's taking their entire jungle and farming it. So
I think this is where Arrow Gaming look at that game 2 yesterday where they had like a draft advantage and were leading the early game and say, let's not have a repeat of that game where we almost throw away everything. So they're happy to sit back with the Radiance Naga Siren, with Tiny getting farm and say, hey, look, let's wait for 1, 2 more big items, wait for the next Aegis as well. Like, even though they haven't taken a single tier 2 tower, MVP are just not getting farm anywhere on the map. They can't really leave their base too easily. They've got some vision up, but with the gem on the Arrow Gaming side, it's so easy for Arrow Gaming to just maintain that map control.
This was one of the very few games that I saw for SEA that a gem was purchased very early.
Okay.
I mean, Arrow, they saw that they had a pretty commanding lead at one point, so he decided to buy it, and he hasn't even died with it, so it was definitely worth for that purchase. And they also have the Furon with a Lothar, so it's great for catching him.
Yep. Well, Kyo once again on the hunt towards the top lane. Zheng Zai working on a BKB, does not have it just yet, so if he gets caught, likely to go down very quickly. Boots of travel now up for your Naga, so...
Look at how defensive that Zheng Zai is being. He's just completely sitting in the woods there. He knows something's up.
You see, what, 5 heroes missing. Prophets in the Radiant Jungle. Not that Arrow Gaming see that anyway, so... Tiny's... It's amazing. The Darkseid's playing so defensive top, but look where Tiny is. He's pushed out super aggressively, but rightfully so. There's no one bottom lane. This is...
They know they're top. Like, I don't know how, but they do.
Yeah, they've got no wards. Like, that's just some insane prediction skills coming out from Arrow Gaming, because I don't think there's any way they know definitively that Radiant team is top.
Tiny just smacking that tower with the tree. That tower's going to drop.
Yeah. I can't believe DDZ is playing this aggressive. The jump from the jump still has not come top lane. Kyo gets purged up. Now they do know MVP at top. When they see that Storm there, it's like, okay, Storm is here with full backup. And Tiny gets a T2 tower bottom. Yeah. Storm says, we're not finding anything. They know we're here. We've got to TP out, so...
They wasted a lot of time there.
I have no idea how Arrow knew that.
That was just really nice, really good game sense. I mean, you were saying before lack of experience, but that right there was pretty next level.
Yeah, the dire vision is lacking. It's all near the middle, like the Roshan pit. There's nothing near the Radiant base to scatter that one out. Maybe a Naga illusion or something. I don't know, but it's
that was really well done by them. And you know what? Arrow's just, they're showing that they really want to win this. All 3 of their tier 1 towers are still up. They're very low across the board on them, but they're just keeping all their towers up, so they're keeping so much map control. And Naga's able to farm not only their jungle, but the enemy jungle too, because we haven't really even seen MVP going into their own jungle. Furion's been doing that one big camp, but that's about it.
Well, Zheng Zai now with a BKB, so if Arrow Gaming want a team fight, they definitely can. I think they'll be more using this to try and secure Roshan, which is respawning in less than a minute, so that should be pretty easy pickings for Arrow Gaming with the amount of map control they've got. With the gem and everything
Soon
else.
We're going to get to see what DDZ wants to go for. Okay. It's the BKB like you were saying.
It's like either or. You can go BKB then AC or vice versa. I think it maybe just affects how aggressive you can play in a team fight, but against Global Silence, you can BKB off the Global. So.
Yeah, I don't think they want to make the same mistake that they did yesterday like you were pointing out. They want to just seal the deal. This is going to be deciding for them to go to Seattle as the first place
They
team.
do not want a Game 5. I feel if you go to a Game 5, that's where you've just lost like a game where you had such a big lead. That could be catastrophic for a team like Arrow, who's young and inexperienced. But they're up by 17k total net worth, so looking very unlikely we get a Game 5, but by no means are MVP completely out of this one just yet.
Yep.
BKB on Storm, so he can engage kind of recklessly. I'd love probably
March.
Oh, March. Iron Shell damage will secure the kill. I actually Dazzle with a Shadow Wave. Ice Path, though, hits DDZ. He's got the BKB, though, so he's still swinging the vacuum. The wall to follow. The Mjolnir damage doing decently for the MVP side, but this Tiny is just too strong and too farmed up. The BKB's paying off there. The Dazzle and the Shadow Demon both surviving on no HP. The Dazzle does end up going down deep, deep, deep. The gem gets stolen by the Storm. What was Dazzle doing there? He was a bit well too far beyond enemy lines as gem actually gets stolen by MVP now, so it's still a very good teamfight victory for Arrow Gaming, though.
Yeah, absolutely. They get the tower now as well, and they got the 4 kills. Yeah. BKBs were used, but
that's what they're there for.
Exactly.
It's if you have a team fight and you trade evenly and you don't use your BKB, something was done wrong. But
yeah, and I mean March, I think he was just a little bit too far up, and he just got picked off. He didn't even get to use the global in that team fight, so that's basically why it just went so disaster. It was a 4 versus 5 fight.
Was Naga even at that? So Naga was not at that fight at all? Or
I don't even think so.
Or did Naga TP bottom afterwards? It sounds like no Naga. All right.
Yeah.
They just 4v5 easy. And Tiny's suddenly 2k gold. I mean, this is where that next big item comes up so incredibly fast after a fight like that.
It's just looking really grim for MVP now. Ryzen he even stole a wall there, but I mean, it's just not really gonna make too much of a difference. And Ryzen's just he's playing a really good Rubik at this point, but he's so naked. He's 2-7 on it. I just feel so bad for him.
It's a tough game, considering how much of an early game advantage Arrow Gaming had. Now with Roshan back up, it looks like Arrow Gaming want to make their way in there. They scouted out. There's no Naga or Darkseer ultimate, which is maybe a small worry for them, but you look at their vision all around the Roshan pit and look at where MVP are positioned on the map. So, I mean, Arrow see every MVP hero pretty much on the map right now, although they could go for a smoke up. They are behind this tower. The Naga illusion's just pushing them back in. You send those Naga illusions out, you get a good idea of where your opponents are. Even if they don't scout any heroes, you figure out where they're not, and you can kind of make some educated guesses from there. And
the lanes for MVP are just pushed so far in, they can't even... There's no way that they can contest this Roshan, even if they know what's going on.
Yep. Well, Naga's not even at the Roshan pit. Says, look, you guys have got this without me. Sends out some Naga illusions just to do some work and control these lanes. And yeah, there's no contest coming up. Perseverance, a full Lincoln Sphere bought for Lance. So this basically means he's not going to be able to get picked off by the Storm Spirit anymore with the Lincoln's pickup.
Yeah, it's not... I thought he was actually going to be going for the Manta, but he gets that Lincoln's really, really early, and he already has 1,600 more gold for him. So just starting to look more and more in favor of Arrow. I mean, looking at the gold lead too, it's 22,000. So as I think as LD was saying it's the Chinese breaking point. They've got the Aegis, they've got the 20,000 gold lead. They're gonna go higher.
Is 20,000 enough when you're in the grand finals of the TI qualifiers though? Like, do you wait for more even? How nervous are Arrow Gaming going to be right now, I guess, is the big question. And MVP trying to make some plays towards the top lane. They're still looking for their second tier 1 tower. They did end up getting the mid tier 1 tower. They did finish the Silencer Aghanim Scepter, but I don't know if that's
just not really going to do much. Yeah. They have their BKBs up, and yeah, now Naga's split pushing bottom lane while his team just pushes the rest of everything else.
They're getting a tier 1 tower, but they're losing a tier 2 mid and taking damage on a tier 3 bottom. Glyph even being used to stall the push at top lane. Oh, Tiny's going to jump in. Where's he gone? It's the Storm Spirit he's gone on. Storm Spirit actually going to... pops a BKB. Cure wants to go in with this one, but there's going to be a tiny right click to finish him off. Immediate buyback coming out from the Storm Spirit there as he tries to zip on. He wants Johnny. It looks like he will get the Shadow Demon. That's a gem on the ground as well.
Oh my god, but he's out of mana. Tiny has a Blink Dagger, and he's going to get chased down. He's going to zip up, but...
Yeah, Tiny. His Blink gets cancelled, but no, he doesn't get onto the high ground. QO doesn't have a TP anyways. There's your Avalanche toss. QO dies back, and with that, this is looking like it could be all over for MVP. Macropie being deployed. DDZ goes onto the high ground. Once Ryzen, there's your Weave as well. His right-click damage is going to start becoming out of control. He's got the Grave as well as an Aegis on top of him. No Grave, sorry, just the Aegis. 2 MVP heroes dead, 1 with no buyback. Mozen going to just Grave himself. Doesn't even need the TP out. Or does he? He's going to get low. The tower right-click damage will finish him off. That's going to be a kill going the way of MVP's March. They've got 1 kill buyback from the Nature's Prophet. They've still got no Storm. And this Tiny is just too farmed to fail. Gets himself an ultra kill. DDZ, give him the Rampage. Get the toss. It's going to be a DDZ Rampage. And with that, 4 MVP heroes are dead. Is it going to be a double Rampage? GG! Arrow Gaming are going to TI. They've secured their spot as the 13th team at the International 4 later this year in Seattle.
Well deserved. They took. You could tell they were playing a little bit cocky in the game, a bit, but to an extent they didn't go like these greedy items at all. They decided to go for their BKBs. They went for Lincolns even on the Naga. They wanted to win this game very decidedly, and they did.
Well, MVP, they fought their heart out. They did manage to take a game off the Malaysian powerhouse. And I got to say, that's where you got to give MVP credit. They played a hell of a finals, even the 3 games they lost. Apart from that game 1 stomp, I'd say game 3 and 4, both they played really well.
Yeah, they didn't even go for any cheese lineups at all. I mean, they were getting their Jakiro and their Furion, so we thought they might go for it, but they ended up just picking. They went for this new pick of the silencer, and it really didn't end up working out for them.
Yeah. Well, we'll get our panel back in lines, guys. Arrow Gaming, they're the real deal. They're going to TI.
Nobody really saw this coming into the qualifiers. Not to say people didn't give Arrow a shot, but nobody saw them dominating SEA, and that is exactly what they did. Scythe came up short. Teams like Mineski, Myth Trust in the end failed to perform, and, well, it was Arrow who filled the void for the Southeast Asian team. So they're going to the International. At the same time, MVP Phoenix, they do make it in the tie breaks, and I guess the big question is going to be, does MVP have a shot? They'll be playing Liquid. There's 2 other teams to be determined. I feel likely DT or LGD is that second-place team from China. Maybe a team like Roxkiss, Mouse Sports if they fall a bit short in Europe. But does MVP... They've done well here, but do they have a real shot at getting into the main dance?
I think it's going to be really hard for them, to be honest. I think they had a good showing here, but for me, Southeast Asia in particular was probably the lower... Like, the teams seem less skilled in that. As far as like the brackets go, like China seems really strong. Southeast Asia wasn't bad, but I think they're gonna have a really hard time going into the international.
It was the most fun. It definitely wasn't the most skilled, but at least they entertained us. We definitely got that.
Absolutely.
Fogged, you guys did qualify, so you don't have to play them in the wild card. But look at MVP Phoenix, look at Liquid. Give Liquid the edge there so far, the 2 teams out of 4 that we know in the wild card.
I do give Liquid a bit of an edge, just because they've been together and those guys have a lot of experience across the board on their players. But I think MVP could definitely take games from Liquid. I mean,
it wouldn't shock you if they made it.
I mean, Liquid's been very sloppy. They losing to us definitely was a big hit to them. So maybe they're gonna practice their asses off and just be ready for MVP. But it really depends on whose day it's gonna be.
That wildcard tournament's going to be... I'm looking forward to that. That's like
cool.
It might be the highlight of TI in some ways, because the thing is, like, all the players will be there watching as well, and just, they're studying the competition, they're all having fun. Last year at the wildcard match, you had all the Chinese players were banding together, rooting for Rattlesnake, and then everyone else pretty much rooting for Quantic. So, it draws some interesting lines.
And with 4 teams, it's like a little mini TI in itself in some ways. Although there's no actual prize, well, apart from getting to compete in TI in itself is a prize. But,
and it's like an appetizer because you haven't gotten the main course yet, so everyone's going to be excited for that. Southeast Asia overall, Arrow, obviously the story of Southeast Asia. DDZ in particular, I think, has been the player that's impressed everyone.
And he got his Rampage on the last game, so.
Was that his first Rampage of the tournament?
You're asking the wrong. You're asking a tough question,
K-Pop is shrugging, man.
Shrugs all over the place.
You had one job, Brian.
Look.
A Rampage stats.
You should know. It's a compendium thing.
That's like the most important.
That's the most important stuff.
The Rampage tracker, bro. Come on, get on that.
But yeah, going into it as well, it's like MVP Phoenix for me is like they still have time, and this is a team that I feel like has grown the most in the amount of time they've had. So coming into the TI qualifiers or the entry spot, whatever you want to call it,
the wild card play-in.
Yeah, I think they're going to come really prepared, and Liquid is good, but they've kind of flatlined for me for the most part, where I think the potential for MVP is, I don't know what their potential is.
MVP has grown, like you said, has grown a lot, and you go back, I don't know, 2 months ago, Zephyr was the undisputed top dogs in Korea, which, maybe isn't saying that much internationally, but Zephyr was easily handling them, and all of a sudden, they get, I think it was 2-0 or 3-1, something along those lines by MVP in a KDL match, and next thing you know, well, MVP is their second place.
And they played really well. They deserve it. They really do.
They did. Arrow was just slightly outclassed them this match, but they have some time, like Fear said, to prepare, and to me, they're a team that really prepares well. They looked like today they had a day off to kind of, or yesterday they had a chance to watch the opposition. They come in today, they're fresh. They dealt with Myth Trust very easily, and I actually thought Myth was going to play better than that, but it wasn't the case.
Yeah. This is probably a great confidence booster to MVP. They were like, you know what, we did lose, we lost, pretty badly in some of the games, but we put up a fight. We did definitely put up a fight. We took a game off them, and even without picking any like cheese lineups, they picked like Luna and everything, and they were just duking it out.
Well, with that being said, I've been bringing up MVP Phoenix a lot, but let's talk about Arrow. How do you rate Arrow's chances at TI? Do you see them just as a spoiler? Are they a serious threat to finish? I'm obviously top 3 is kind of strong, but top 8. Do you think they can finish outside of the bottom 4? Where would you guys rate them?
I think they can compete with all the teams there after seeing their showing today, throughout the whole qualifier. I think they can actually compete with just about all the teams there, so they can give them a run for their money. So I'm expecting a lot from them.
I completely agree. Like, I don't even think I have anything else to add at all. Yeah. Like, it's just really well put.
They're amazing.
Brilliant work.
Fantastic stuff. We're actually maybe getting one of the Arrow Gaming players in for a Skype call for an interview after the match. We're trying to hook him in now, but Arrow Gaming, definitely I'll give him a really good
Do we know
shot.
which player we're getting? Or?
Zheng Zai.
Okay.
So the guy with the hardest name to pronounce apparently has the best English on the team. So we're going to get Zheng Zai in, hopefully for a call in just a second.
So basically you're saying he was fucking with us with his name because he knew how hard it would be for us to pronounce, and that's why he chose it.
Yeah. So hopefully we get him in now. We get the good old Skype. Ding, ding.
Hello?
Hello! Is this Zheng Zai? Can you hear us?
We might have to set the microphone device.
Hello?
Oh my god. Turn up that volume on the speakers. Sorry guys, we're working on our production values here. Alright, I'll help out.
Hold on.
LD, we need you.
LD, please. LD, please.
Stop listening to it.
I'm...
Wait, there's no... Huh? Oh, you know what? It's not plugged in here. That's a problem. We can call him from this computer?
Yeah, we can do a Skype call.
Yeah. We just call him from this computer. We don't have the mics plugged in.
Everyone panic.
This is really super ghetto. Yeah.
Now what?
Do you have him?
We can... Yeah, I have him on Skype. I'll add you to the group, LD, if you log onto your Skype. But,
We did not rehearse this one, guys.
it was a last minute thing. Like before the final, I was like, I talked to our manager. I was like, hey, look, don't ask your players now, but should you guys win, we want to get some guy on for an interview afterwards. So you guys didn't get the luxury of that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
wow.
We knew you were going to be here. We can talk to you in person. Congratulate you in person. So.
Oh, thanks, man.
Here, add.
While we're failing here, we'll do our interview with Fog now.
Yeah, right.
Talk to us about what it was like having to deal with this guy and his little slip up.
I don't know. It was perfectly fine. I mean,
My slip
happens.
up? I didn't slip up.
I thought it was fine.
What did I do?
What else am I here for? I mean, I'm supposed to do something, right?
Yeah.
So stay on the call there so you can hear him.
Okay. All right, this will work. Hopefully. How are we doing, LD? You got added to the call?
We're talking. I don't hear him. You have to turn the speakers up, I think.
Oh yeah. No. Can he hear us now?
Well, we can hear his
We can
background.
We can hear his background. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, Zheng Zai. Can you hear us?
Don't think so.
He may have gone away from his speak. Well, I guess you can hear it. We can hear the echo going on. So let me ask. He's in the call. Can you hear us, Zheng Zai? Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
He says yes.
Yes?
Are you here?
Talking.
He can't hear us.
Oh, can't hear us. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have an interview, hopefully, with Arrow's Zheng Zai.
Production value.
Stay tuned.
Production.